Reinhard van Astrea is the strongest fighter in ReZero and the current Sword Saint. Despite being human, Reinhard's power comes from an absurd number of divine protections, blessings granted directly by the world itself. What makes Reinhard especially dangerous is how specific his blessings are. Reinhard has over 251 divine protections, far more than any other character in the series. These blessings cover almost every situation imaginable. These include blessings that enhance his strength, speed, reflexes, and durability, along with protections that grant resistance or immunity to poison, curses, fire, cold, and most forms of debuff magic. He also possesses divine protections that activate depending on time and environment, including boosts that work during the day, at night, under sunlight, or even in the rain. In addition, Reinhard has blessings that interfere with attacks before they can land. The divine protection of arrow evasion, for example, causes ranged attacks to miss him entirely, making projectile-based combat useless against him. Perhaps his most important blessing is the divine protection of the Sword Saint. This grants him complete mastery over sword combat and allows him to wield the Dragon Sword Reed to its full capabilities. However, the sword will only unsheath if it judges Reinhard's opponent as a worthy threat. When it does, Reinhard's power increases dramatically. In canon, it's even stated that Reinhard could destroy the world if he truly went all out, despite never choosing to do so. Reinhard also possesses the divine protection of Phoenix, which allows him to revive once after death. This revival happens automatically and does not require any preparation. Once resurrected, Reinhard obtains another version of this divine protection, completely preventing him from dying at all. At the cost of his life, this can also be used for teleportation. Despite already having countless blessings, Reinhard's power is not fixed. If a situation exists where he lacks a specific protection, Old Laguna can grant him a new one instantly. Some of these blessings are almost ridiculous. Reinhard has protections that massively improve his luck, make him skilled with any weapon he touches, and even help him instinctively choose the best possible action in battle. Because of this, Reinhard has confronted multiple Sin Archbishops. He also defeats Elsa despite her semi-immortality, overpowering her regeneration. Against Sirius Romaniconti, the Archbishop of Wrath, Reinhard dominates the fight without much difficulty. However, his battle with Regulus Corneas, the Archbishop of Greed, shows the limits of raw power against authority-based abilities. Regulus cannot be killed through normal means. As a result, Reinhard repeatedly destroys Regulus's body and launches him into the sky, eventually defeating him with the help of Subaru and Emilia by drowning him. Because his power is backed by the world's laws, Reinhard is seen as almost impossible to defeat. With his divine protections being straight-up cheat-level broken, he's so strong that even characters from other Isekai worlds have a hard time matching him. Rimuru Tempest. Rimuru Tempest is a former human who reincarnated as a slime and later ascended into a true demon lord and then a god-level existence. Unlike most characters, Rimuru's power grows continuously through evolution, absorption, and skill fusion. Rimuru's most important ability is Predator, which later evolves into Gluttony and finally into the ultimate skill, Belzebuto. This ability allows Rimuru to consume enemies, objects, energy, magic, skills, and even abstract information. Anything consumed can be analyzed, stored, and recreated perfectly. The clearest demonstration of this power is how Rimuru gains abilities without limitation. Once something is absorbed, Rimuru permanently adds it to his set of abilities, often improving it beyond its original form. After awakening as a true demon lord, Rimuru gains access to ultimate skills, abilities that exist above normal magic and abilities. His most important skill is Raphael, later evolving into Ciel, an autonomous intelligence that manages his abilities, predicts outcomes, and optimizes every action Rimuru takes. Despite facing unknown opponents, Raphael can instantly analyze their abilities and determine the most effective way to defeat them. This removes hesitation, miscalculation, and human error from Rimuru's decision-making entirely. Rimuru also possesses space-time manipulation, allowing him to teleport freely, move between dimensions, and attack across spatial boundaries. In addition, he gains law manipulation, which lets him interfere directly with the rules that govern magic, skills, and existence itself. His defenses are just as overwhelming. Rimuru has near absolute regeneration, resistance to physical, magical, mental, and spiritual attacks, and immunity to many status effects. Even if his body's destroyed, he can reconstruct himself as long as his core remains intact. On top of that, Rimuru can create and command high-level beings, including true dragons and powerful subordinates who themselves rival demon lords. Through skill duplication, he can grant abilities to others while still keeping full access to them. Ainz. Ainz, formerly human Suzuki Satoru, is an undead overlord who rules the Great Tomb of Nazarick. He is one of the strongest magic users in Overlord and far exceeds what normal players in Yggdrasil were ever meant to achieve. Ainz possesses the class skill Dark Wisdom, which allows him to learn spells by sacrificing player corpses. Because of this, Ainz knows over 700 spells, something explicitly stated to be impossible for other players who are normally limited to around 300. He can cast super tier magic, spells that exist above the normal tier system. Considered the magic of gods, these spells can cause massive area destruction, summon world-class entities, or instantly decide battles between guilds. For example, Fallen Down is basically an isekai nuke that causes massive AoE damage. Another powerful super tier spell is Iashub Nigorat, which sacrifices thousands of enemies to summon high tier monsters called the Dark Young. While super tier spells normally require long casting times, Ainz can bypass weaknesses through preparation and cache items. These spells do not consume mana and instead require cooldowns and casting limits. Additionally, Ainz possesses multiple world items that he and his guild acquired throughout their peak days, some of which he later gave to Nazarick's NPCs. These world items are the strongest artifacts in Yggdrasil, capable of ignoring resistances, overriding immunities, and can only be countered by other world items. One of the most important items is the Throne of Kings. This is the same throne given to Ainz's guild after they conquered Nazarick. It lets Ainz oversee the entire tomb and check the stats of everyone inside. As an undead, Ainz has natural immunities to fear, mind control, poison, fatigue, sleep, and instant death effects. He can freely use time stop magic, then attack enemies while they're frozen, bypassing normal defenses. Ainz's spell arsenal includes his favorite instant death magic like Grasp Heart, battlefield control spells, reality-altering buffs, teleportation, summoning, and high-level necromancy. He can summon undead strong enough to defeat armies alone. His most famous feat occurs during the Katsa Plains massacre, where Ainz obliterates over 70,000 soldiers instantly using a single super tier spell. Through a tribute ritual that summons the Dark Young, he was able to push the total number of casualties to around 170,000. Even though she was a perfect counter to his build, Ainz still managed to defeat Shouter Bladfallen, one of the strongest NPCs in Nazarick. He did this by smartly using game mechanics, resistances, cooldowns, and items left behind by other supreme beings. Ultimately, Ainz went on to conquer large parts of the New World as the Sorcerer King. Beerus. Beerus is the god of destruction of Universe 7. His role is to maintain balance by destroying planets, civilizations, or even gods when necessary. Beerus' main ability is Hakai, a destruction technique that erases targets completely. Hakai does not just destroy the body, it removes the body, soul, and energy at the same time, wiping the target from existence entirely. Beerus can apply Hakai in different ways. He can erase targets with a single touch, release them as a focused blast, or use partial applications that erase only parts of an opponent. He can also nullify Hakai, used by weaker gods of destruction, confirming his superiority even among his own kind. The clearest demonstration of Beerus' combat ability is his movement. Beerus possesses autonomous Ultra Instinct reactions. While he has not mastered Ultra Instinct like the Angels, his body can move on its own to avoid attacks without conscious thought. This allows him to casually dodge attacks from the Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue level fighters. Despite his relaxed attitude, Beerus' raw power is immense. Even casual clashes between Beerus and the other gods threaten the stability of entire universes. During his fight with Super Saiyan God Goku, the shockwaves from their punches were stated to be capable of destroying the universe if left unchecked. Despite all of this, Beerus is not the highest authority. He answers directly to Zeno, the Omni King, and is overseen by Whis, his angel attendant, who is significantly stronger and exists to supervise Beerus' actions. Regardless, it's no surprise that Beerus is widely feared. Supreme Kais, angels, and gods of destruction from other universes all acknowledge his authority. Despite his laziness, Beerus' presence alone is enough to keep entire universes in check. Zeus. Zeus, known as the King of the Gods, is the chief god of the Greek pantheon in Record of Ragnarok, and one of the strongest gods in the entire series. Despite his appearance, Zeus possesses physical power that far surpasses most divine beings. Zeus' strength comes from his ability to compress his muscles to extreme levels, allowing him to release explosive power far beyond that of normal gods. His most famous technique is Time-Transcending Fist, an attack thrown at such speed that it moves faster than time itself. Even fighters with exceptional reaction speed are unable to see or dodge it once it's activated. Zeus also uses True God's Right, devastating punches that carry his full physical strength. The clearest demonstration of his power appears when he's pushed to his limit and enters his ultimate state known as Adamus. In this form, Zeus compresses every muscle in his body to its absolute limit. Despite the strain it places on him, Adamus drastically increases Zeus's strength, speed, and durability. However, the form cannot be maintained for long as it causes severe damage to his body with every moment it's active. While in Adamus form, Zeus continues to fight even after suffering injuries that would normally be fatal. His body visibly breaks down during the battle, yet he keeps moving forward without slowing down. Zeus also demonstrates extreme durability. He survives repeated full-power attacks from Adam, including techniques that Adam copied directly from Zeus himself. Despite internal damage and heavy blood loss, Zeus refuses to fall until the battle is decided. That said, Zeus himself admits that if the fight had become purely a test of endurance, he would have lost badly to the human. Adam. Adam is the first human and humanity's strongest representative in the record of Ragnarok. Unlike the gods he faces, Adam does not possess divine authority or magic. His power comes entirely from a single ability known as Eyes of the Lord. Better known as Divine Replication, Eyes of the Lord allows Adam to perfectly copy any technique he sees, including god-level abilities. This replication is instant and does not require training, preparation, or understanding of how the technique works. Once Adam witnesses an attack, he can reproduce it immediately. There's no stated limit to what he can copy. What makes this ability terrifying is that Adam's copy techniques are not weaker versions. He reproduces them at full power and, in some cases, executes them even more cleanly. This allows him to fight gods on equal footing using their own abilities against them. The clearest demonstration of this happens during Adam's fight with Zeus. Adam copies multiple divine techniques, including the fist that surpassed time and True God's Right. He uses these attacks against Zeus faster than Zeus himself, forcing the King of Gods onto the defensive. However, divine replication comes with a severe drawback. Every time Adam copies a divine technique, extreme strain is placed on his nervous system and eyes. The damage builds rapidly, his eyes begin to bleed, and his vision starts to fail. Despite this, Adam refuses to stop fighting. Even after losing his eyesight completely, he continues throwing punches. As the battle goes on, Adam's body begins to shut down. His organs fail and his heart stops, and his body reaches its absolute limit. Even then, Adam keeps attacking. Despite already being dead, his body continues to move, striking Zeus purely through willpower. This moment confirms that Adam is not fighting for pride or victory. He's fighting to protect his children, the entire human race. Throughout the battle, Adam never shows hatred toward the gods. He stands between humanity and annihilation without hesitation, continuing to fight until his body can no longer move. 6 Paths Madara. Madara Uchiha reaches his peak form after becoming the 10 Tails Jinchuriki and awakening the 6 Paths power. At this stage, Madara surpasses all shinobi and operates on a level comparable to godlike beings. After absorbing the 10 Tails, Madara gains massive chakra reserves, near immortality, and extreme regeneration. Fatal injuries no longer stop him. Even when his body is pierced or heavily damaged, it regenerates almost instantly, allowing him to continue to fight without slowing down. Madara also awakens the Rinnegan, granting him access to powerful abilities. These include gravitational control through techniques like Shibaku Tensei, chakra absorption, and soul manipulation. He can also summon massive meteors from space, overwhelming entire battlefields in a single attack. One of Madara's most dangerous abilities is Limbo Border Jail. Limbo creates invisible clones that exist in a parallel plane. These clones can attack, block, and restrain enemies, yet cannot be seen or touched by anyone without 6 Paths power of Rinnegan-level perception. Madara also wields truth-seeking orbs, black spheres formed from all chakra natures combined with yin-yang release. These orbs erase anything they touch at a fundamental level. They negate ninjutsu, destroy matter, and can be reforged into weapons such as blades, staffs, or shields. With 6 Paths Senjutsu, Madara gains flight, enhanced sensory abilities, and resistance to nearly all ninjutsu. Attacks that rely on normal chakra mechanics become largely ineffective against him. The clearest demonstration of Madara's power is the activation of Infinite Tsukuyomi. Using the moon as a reflector, Madara casts a genjutsu that traps nearly all life on the planet in an eternal illusion, placing the entire world under his control at once. But even Madara still exists inside reality. Truth enforces the rules that reality follows. Truth. Truth is a metaphysical entity that represents the laws of alchemy and reality in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. It exists beyond the physical world and appears only when someone attempts human transmutation, the greatest taboo in alchemy. Truth governs the law of equivalent exchange. When someone attempts to bring back the dead or performs human transmutation, truth pulls them through the gate of truth and enforces a toll. This toll is never random. It always takes something deeply important to the person performing the transmutation. Once the gate opens, payment is unavoidable. Truth itself decides what is taken. For example, Edward Eldrig loses his leg and later his arm. Alfonso loses his entire body. Izumi Curtis loses parts of her internal organs and becomes unable to have children, permanently damaging her health. These losses are permanent unless paid back through another equivalent exchange. Truth appears as a white, featureless version of the person it is facing. It speaks in their voice and uses their mannerisms. This shows that truth is not a separate god judging humanity. Instead, it acts as a reflection of the individual, forcing them to confront the consequences of their actions. Truth has complete control over the gate of truth. It controls access to alchemical knowledge, decides the cost of forbidden actions, and enforces the balance within reality. Opening the gate grants understanding of advanced alchemy, but always removes something in return. Truth cannot be attacked, sealed, restrained, or destroyed. It does not have a physical body and does not participate in combat. Power-based abilities are meaningless against it because truth enforces the rules rather than existing within them. Even forced transmutation does not bypass truth's authority. When Roy Mustang is forced through the gate against his will, truth still takes his eyesight as payment. In contrast, truth can accept alternative exchanges, but only when they follow the rules. When Edward gives up his ability to use alchemy entirely, truth accepts the trade and returns Alphonse's body. Haruhi Suzumiya. Haruhi Suzumiya is a normal girl who unknowingly possesses god-level reality manipulation. Though she's completely unaware of her abilities, the universe actively reshapes itself to match her emotions, desires, and mental state. Basically, Haruhi can alter reality subconsciously. She does not need to focus, speak, or activate anything. If Haruhi feels bored, dissatisfied, or frustrated, reality responds automatically. These changes include the creation of alternate spaces, the distortion of time, the rewriting of physical laws, and the alteration of the structure of existence itself. Her emotions act as the trigger. When Haruhi becomes bored, anomalies begin to appear. When she feels dissatisfied, the world adjusts itself to keep her entertained. These changes happen naturally, as if reality is trying to please her. One of Haruhi's most dangerous abilities is the creation of closed spaces. These are isolated pocket realities that form when Haruhi experiences emotional instability. Inside these spaces, reality becomes unstable, and hostile entities known as celestials appear. If a closed space is left unchecked, it can expand and overwrite the real world. Haruhi is also implied to have destroyed and recreated the universe. The current timeline is heavily suggested to be a reset version of reality formed after Haruhi unconsciously rebuilt existence without realizing it. In fact, multiple people exist solely to monitor Haruhi. Yuki Nagata, an artificial humanoid interface created by an advanced data entity, confirms that Haruhi's existence causes massive data anomalies. According to Mikuru Asahina, a time traveler, Haruhi's emotional changes directly threaten the stability of time. The terrifying thing is that espers, time travelers, and artificial intelligences all acknowledge the same thing. Haruhi's power has no measurable upper limit. There is no range, cooldown, or restriction placed on her abilities. The only known way to prevent catastrophic events is to keep Haruhi emotionally satisfied. This includes keeping her interested in daily activities and avoiding extreme boredom. Despite being surrounded by beings who understand her power, Haruhi herself remains completely unaware. This makes her extremely dangerous, as she cannot consciously control or suppress her abilities. Haruhi changes reality without knowing it. The anti-spiral exists to stop that exact kind of power. The anti-spiral is a collective consciousness formed by an ancient race that abandoned physical form. Its purpose is to suppress spiral power, which it believes will inevitably lead to the destruction of the universe through unchecked evolution. The anti-spiral exists outside normal space and time. It does not possess a single physical body. Instead, it acts through avatars and manifestations, while its true existence remains beyond physical reality. Its primary ability is absolute control over probability, space, time, and dimensions. What makes this even more dangerous is its constant use of probability manipulation. On top of that, the anti-spiral can trap opponents inside pocket universes, manipulate causality, and distort reality on a multiversal scale. One of its most dangerous techniques is the multiversal labyrinth. This ability traps opponents inside endlessly repeating realities designed to break their will. Inside the labyrinth, time loops, logic collapses, and opponents are forced to relive their personal failures. Escape is only possible through complete acknowledgement of one's true self. The anti-spiral can also create infinite energy constructs, merge two galaxies, and pull off attacks like the infinite Big Bang Storm. In combat, it manifests as the anti-spiral mech Granzaboma, a being large enough to battle Super Tengen Topper Gurren Lagann, whose size exceeds galaxies and operates on a multiversal scale. One important thing to note is that the anti-spiral does not seek conquest. Its goal is prevention. It actively suppresses civilizations before they can evolve far enough to threaten reality itself. The Godhand is a group of 5 demonic entities that exist beyond the physical world in Berserk. They act as agents of casuality and serve the idea of evil. The current members of the Godhand are Femto, Void, Slan, Ubik, and Conrad. Each represents a different aspect of humanity's darkest impulses and possesses unique abilities tied to casuality and the astral world. Known as the oldest known member, Void is closely linked to fate and space distortion. He can manipulate space and open dimensional rifts. During sacrificial ceremonies, Void is shown suspending people and objects in mid-air, warping reality around the event itself. As the goddess of flame, Slan is associated with desire, lust, and corruption. She can manifest parts of her body through physical matter, manipulate blood and flesh, and influence human minds through temptation and madness. Under specific conditions, Slan can partially manifest in the physical world. Ubik specializes in psychological manipulation. He invades minds, creates illusions, and manipulates memories and emotions. Ubik's role is to push individuals towards despair, guiding them to willingly accept sacrifice rather than resist it. Conrad embodies disease and plague. His presence causes rot, infestation, and the collapse of living systems. Conrad rarely speaks and functions mainly as a force that spreads destruction across entire regions. Femto, formerly the human Griffith, possesses extreme control over space and gravity. He can bend space so completely that attacks curve away before reaching him. Femto can also reposition objects and people instantly by distorting space itself. The Godhand exists primarily within the astral world, a higher plane that overlaps with physical reality. Their greatest ability is control over causality. Rather than forcing events directly, the Godhand arranges circumstances so outcomes become inevitable. These include wars, betrayals, deaths, and sacrifices that are set into motion long before they occur. Using Beherits, the Godhand creates apostles, granting humans immense power in exchange for sacrificing what they value most. This reinforces their control over fate and perpetuates an endless cycle of suffering. Shinra Banshoman. Shinra Banshoman is the final form of Shinra Kusakabe after gaining complete access to Ardola. This form is created through soul resonance, a fusion of souls between Shinra and his brother Sho, and their mother Mari Kusakabe. Within this resonance, each plays a specific role. Shinra embodies the hero, Sho acts as the guardian angel, and Mari represents hope. By uniting their souls, they create a miracle that transforms Shinra into Shinra Banshoman, a being that operates beyond normal physical and metaphysical limits. Shinra Banshoman's power comes from direct control over Ardola, a realm connected to human perception and belief. In the Fire Force universe, reality is shaped by how people collectively understand the world. This allows Shinra Banshoman to gain authority over the system that defines how reality functions. Unlike Shinra's previous forms, which relied on rage or despair, Shinra Banshoman draws power from positive emotions such as hope, determination, and willpower. This directly allows him to counter Haumea, the evangelist, and their fusion into the Holy Woman of Despair, whose power spreads hopelessness and destruction. The clearest demonstration of Shinra Banshoman's power is his complete reality warping. He turns black flames into fields of flowers, reshapes Earth's continents with a single stomp, and brings his thoughts into existence instantly. Shinra Banshoman catches Haumea's divine light, an attack no other character could survive, and uses it to restore the world. By manipulating time, he erases despair itself and reverses damage on a planetary scale. As a result, Shinra Banshoman recreates Earth as a blue planet, restoring mountains, oceans, animals, and plant life. Using the intelligence of Licht and Volcan, he rebuilds civilization by restoring technology and infrastructure. He also revives those who wish to live again, showing direct authority over life and death. In this new world, Shinra Banshoman alters the meaning of life and death, bringing them closer together. He creates a new god to oversee the cycle of life and death, then removes supernatural powers entirely. This includes erasing pyrokinesis, the abilities of the pillars, and even eliminating spontaneous human combustion from existence. The Outer Deities and Lord of the Mysteries are cosmic entities that exist in the cosmos. They operate on a level far above ordinary gods and angels. But before we continue, a quick heads up. This section is based on the Lord of the Mysteries novel, so if you want to avoid spoilers for the anime, skip ahead this many seconds to the next powerful being. Though the Outer Deities' abilities vary, they commonly include conceptual corruption, certain death, mental destruction, fate manipulation, and other high-level effects. Fully understanding them is dangerous. In fact, merely learning too much about the Outer Deities can result in corruption. Because the Outer Deities cannot influence the world directly, they attempt to invade reality by creating anchors, acting through their followers, avatars, and pathways. Exposure to their influence causes madness, mutation, or the complete loss of identity. The Outer Deities targeting Earth are all great old one-level existences. According to the Seven Lights, they are considered the most powerful beings in the entire universe. The only reason they have not invaded Earth directly is because of a powerful barrier formed from the residual power of the original creator. The original creator, also known as the Oldest One or Primordial Chaos, is the being that created the universe and everything within it. This existence is the source of all Sephiroth, uniquenesses, and beyonder characteristics. When encountering the original creator, even events that should be impossible can occur. There are 3 Outer Deities created by the original creator. These include the Mother Goddess of Depravity, the Mother Tree of Desire, and the Son of Chaos. These entities have direct influence over the pathways they control and affect reality through authority, symbols, and corruption. Around the Earth, there are approximately 10 Outer Deities gathered near the solar system. According to the Seven Lights, after the original creator split apart, the strongest Outer Deities in the universe were drawn to this region. Some of them seek to reclaim Sephiroth, and beyonder characteristics that were taken from them. Others are attracted by nearby Sephiroth and high-level characteristics that they may be able to accommodate. Beyond those surrounding Earth, there are other Outer Deities deeper within the cosmos. However, these entities are either weaker or have no interest in the symbolic meaning of the Sephiroths within the barrier, which is why they are not involved in the conflict around Earth. Even so, exposure to knowledge of the Outer Deities remains extremely dangerous. Those who learn too much are gazed upon, slowly contaminated, and eventually corrupted. When Klein learns more about them, he is observed not only from the moon but also from distant cosmic bodies associated with Outer Deities. Naturally, the Outer Deities cannot be killed through normal means. Their influence is indirect, subtle, and capable of corrupting even high-sequence beyonders, often without being noticed until it's already too late. Arceus. Arceus is the original being of the Pokemon universe, the creator of the Pokemon world. According to canon lore, Arceus existed before space, time, and matter and is responsible for creating the structure of reality itself. Arceus created Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina, legendary Pokemons that govern time, space, antimatter, and distortion. These 3 are not equal to Arceus. Instead, they function as extensions of its will, created to manage reality after the universe was formed. Arceus is stated to have created the universe using 1,000 arms, a description meant to represent its limitless reach rather than a physical form. Its true existence lies beyond physical reality. The Arceus seen in battles is only an avatar, not its full omnipotent form. Arguably, the most powerful mythical Pokemon, Arceus can freely manipulate reality. It can create universes, alter space and time, and erase beings with little effort. It has the ability to bring back things that it once destroyed, making things disappear into thin air, stopping time and reversing the laws of nature. Arceus possesses the Legend Plate, along with multiple other plates and Z-crystals that allow it to instantly change its type. Each plate aligns Arceus with a fundamental force. By changing types, Arceus can gain resistance or immunity to nearly all forms of damage, making it extremely difficult to counter. The clearest demonstration of this is Judgment, Arceus' signature attack. Judgment adapts to Arceus' current type and bypasses many defensive mechanics. Combined with Arceus' raw power, this allows it to overwhelm ordinary Pokemon almost instantly. In the anime and films, Arceus survives attacks from multiple legendary Pokemon at once, including Dialga, Palkia, and Giratina, even while weakened. Within Pokemon lore, no being is shown or stated to outrank Arceus. Zeno, also known as the Omni King, is the highest authority in Dragon Ball Super. He rules over the entire multiverse and exists above all gods, angels, and gods of destruction. Zeno's main ability is Absolute Erasure. With a single gesture, he can erase anything from existence. This includes people, gods, souls, planets, timelines, and entire universes. When Zeno erases something, nothing is left behind. The clearest demonstration of this power is the state of the multiverse itself. Originally, there were 18 universes. Zeno erased 6 of them before the series even began, simply because he was displeased. Later during the Tournament of Power, Zeno erased multiple universes. Zeno's power also bypasses immortality. He erased Infinite Zamasu, a being who had merged with an entire timeline and could not be killed by any known method. Despite existing across time, Zamasu was completely removed from reality. Zeno also exists outside of time. When Goku summoned him from a destroyed future timeline, that version of Zeno remained unaffected by the erasure of reality itself. This confirmed that Zeno is not bound by a single timeline. Unlike other powerful beings, Zeno does not fight. He does not train and does not rely on techniques or transformations. His authority alone is enough. Even the Grand Minister and the angels obey him without question, and the gods of destruction panic in his presence. Despite his childish behavior, Zeno is not limited by emotion or intelligence. His power activates instantly and without conditions. Once Zeno decides that something should be erased, it happens. From gods who erase universes to characters who are too overpowered, these are some of the most powerful beings in anime. Which beings did we miss? And which one do you think is truly the most powerful? Let me know in the comments, and if you're in the mood for more anime simply explained, watch this video next.